I got Tank. I got Tank winning that fight. He just got to be on defense in the earlier rounds.
The upcoming fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach on December 14th at the Toyota Center in Houston has sparked different reactions. Some are excited, while others are disappointed. Social media has been flooded with trash talk, drawing fans, fighters, and even trainers into the conversation.
DC and Baltimore guys don't like each other. You know what I mean? So, it was a DC guy that I got into it with.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So one of the older guys named Dana, he basically like told me chill out, like nah.
Right.
DC and Baltimore don't fuck with each other.
Yeah, they don't. One thing about it, the city.
Both Tank and Roach have exchanged fiery words, but it was Frank Martin's message to Roach that really caught everyone's attention. Martin, a top contender himself, warned Roach against facing Gervonta Davis, believing that Roach doesn't have what it takes to defeat the undefeated champion. Frank Martin's warning was clear. I don't think he has what it takes to put Tank down, but everyone is always confident in themselves before they actually get in the ring with him. It will just be another loss for Roach. This message was part of the heated social media exchanges between Davis and Roach, adding to the tension as the fight draws closer. Davis has long been a dominant figure in the lightweight division. His power, speed, and ability to deliver brutal knockouts have earned him the reputation of being one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing today. ESPN even ranks him as the number 8-pound 4-pound boxer in the world, a testament to his skill and dominance in the sport. Davis has the ability to handpick opponents due to his standing with the WBA, which has granted him the privilege to defend his lightweight title against fighters from the super featherweight division. Many fans see this as a way for Davis to avoid tougher competition in his own division, allowing him to maintain his undefeated record while facing what they perceive as lesser opponents.
$1 million worth of game. Where in your mind did you say, I'm going to fuck Tank up?
He in a spot that I want, you know what I mean?
Gonna finish
like, yeah, he gonna find out. The sparring, look, this
He
the
didn't
thing.
touch me up. You was scared to get in the ring.
Where your man's at?
Lamont Roach, moving up in weight for this fight, is seen by some as another example of Davis picking a weaker opponent to secure an easy win. However, Tank's track record speaks for itself. His last fight against Frank Martin in June showcased his incredible speed and knockout power. In that fight, Davis overwhelmed Martin in the middle rounds before finishing him with a crushing knockout, solidifying his status as one of the most feared fighters in the sport. It's no wonder that Frank Martin, having felt the force of Davis firsthand, would warn Roach not to take the fight lightly.
Do you feel like Tank has been receiving unfair criticism because of Lamont not being as known of a fighter as his past opponent?
Yeah, but it's not Tank's fault. You know, the guys with the so-called names, they turn Tank down, they price themselves out. And because people don't know Lamont, he's not as popular, they think he can't fight, but Lamont can fight. And he got a hell of a pedigree, you know, 7-time national champion, and he's tough.
Lamont Roach enters this fight with a record of 25-1, with 10 knockouts, and he's on an impressive 6-fight winning streak since his only career loss to Jamal Herring in 2019. Roach's most notable victory came in November last year when he defeated Hector Garcia by split decision to claim a world title. While Roach is not as widely known as Davis, his recent success in the ring shows that he's not someone to be underestimated. Roach's confidence has been evident in the lead-up to the fight, especially in his social media exchanges with Davis.
Yeah, that's my guy. Left-hander, dynamite, power, explosive, you know what I'm saying? Good boxing ability. He's in training camp right now. He's putting that work in, and you know, I mean,
On X, formerly Twitter, Roach made it clear that he doesn't see himself as just another opponent for Davis. You must think, I'm one of those regular expletive. You fought before. LOL. Cut it out. Roach fired back at Davis. He believes he's different from the typical fighters Davis has faced and is ready to prove it in the ring. But Davis, ever confident, was quick to respond, advising Roach to be careful with his words. I advise you not to talk so much, it can be bad for you. You know that already though, Davis warned. Despite Roach's winning streak and his belief that he can give Davis a tough fight, many analysts and fans remain skeptical. While Roach has shown improvement in recent fights, it's difficult for most to see how he can pose a serious threat to someone as powerful and skilled as Gervonta Davis. But boxing is a sport full of surprises, and Roach is determined to be the underdog who shocks the world. Frank Martin's warning to Roach carries weight, not just because Martin is a respected fighter, but because he has first-hand experience facing Davis. Martin was once a rising star, touted as a potential future champion, but his fight against Davis changed everything. Martin was thoroughly outclassed by Davis, who used his speed and power to overwhelm him before delivering a knockout that left no doubt about who the superior fighter was. However, in the midst of all this, Lamont Roach has made it clear that he's not intimidated by the challenge of facing Davis. Despite Davis's dominant record and fearsome reputation, Roach is confident. His message is simple: I'm not Frank Martin. Roach believes he brings a different set of skills and experience to the table, and he's determined to go one step further than Frank Martin by dethroning the undefeated lightweight champion.
A certain limit that you hit, right? But then there's that next criteria or that next top tier, and if you don't match that, you know, you never gonna know how great you really are. And I've done that a few amount of times already. I jumped out that box and done that. So I have yet to see Gervonta come out of that box yet. You know what I'm saying? They're about to put him with a guy at 130 pounds. Whether he's a champion or not, you're getting a guy lighter than you to come up and weight to make you look good again.
One of the key distinctions Roach has emphasized is his experience compared to Frank Martin. While Martin fell short against Davis, Roach insists that his own background and skill set make him a far tougher opponent. Respectfully, I'm not Frank Martin, Roach stated in an interview with Cigar Talk. He pointed out that Martin started boxing at age 15, a relatively late start in the sport, and lacked the depth of experience necessary to handle someone as seasoned as Gervonta Davis. In contrast, Roach feels that his long career in the sport gives him an edge that Martin simply didn't have. He didn't have the experience to be in there with someone as skilled and experienced as Tank, Roach said of Martin. Roach believes he matches Davis in almost every aspect of the game. I've got the same skill level as Tank. We've got the same experience as Tank. I've got the reflexes. I've got the ability. I've damn sure got the IQ.
Both champions, but in this case, Garcia is the challenger. Oh, down.
This confidence is entered just about. Roach's career shows a more extensive and tested track record compared to Martin. Roach, who fights at 130 pounds but will be moving up to 135 pounds for this bout, currently holds the WBA super featherweight title. He has also been in the ring with Davis twice before in sparring sessions, although he lost both times by decision. Those losses, however, haven't dampened Roach's belief in his ability to finally get the better of Davis as he continues to improve with each fight.
Man, I watched a few of your amateur fights, right? I didn't know that you and Tank fought many years ago as well, man. And I saw that, man. It was a close fight, man. It was the JO 2011.
Yeah.
That was battling back and forth, brother.
Yeah.
See, these boys look like pros as amateurs, man.
Stylistically, Frank Martin and Lamont Roach approach their fights differently, and Roach believes this is where he has an advantage. Frank Martin is known for his speed and quick reflexes, and while he possesses knockout power, his approach is often more about precision and movement. He's a skilled fighter, but against Davis, he was outgunned as Tank's power overwhelmed him in the middle rounds, leading to an 8th round knockout.
Gotta get back on the guys. Our game plan has had to keep him busy. Oh, there's a but Martin doing the veteran thing. Davis missing. Oh, you covered up well. Oh. He needs to be a little bit more.
Oh, left uppercut. Goes Martin!
Big trouble here. There's the uppercut, and there's.
Roach, on the other hand, describes himself as a more versatile fighter, while he might not be known for his knockout power. With only 10 KOs and 25 wins, Roach is a cerebral fighter with a high ring IQ. He relies on his boxing intelligence and the ability to make adjustments mid-fight. His defense is sharp, and he's known for being durable, as evidenced by the fact that he's never been knocked down or seriously hurt in any of his professional fights. In a way, Roach's style is more about longevity and outsmarting his opponents rather than overpowering them.
Do it. This is the blueprint. You know, you work your plan and you work and you plan your work. And he's been doing that. He's gotten better since the loss. Sure, he's gotten bigger, he's gotten stronger. You know, so hats off to him. They put themselves in the position for a payday. And that's what this is all about. It's called prize fighting.
In terms of defense, Roach feels confident that he can take Davis's power, What makes people think I'm going to end up like those guys who didn't have the experience and skill? Roach asked. I think I've got a nice chin. I've been hit on my chin a couple of times. Ain't nobody ever dropped me. Ain't nobody ever seen me hurt in a fight. While Roach acknowledges that Davis's power is different from anything he's faced, he remains confident that his chin can withstand the punishment. This resilience is something that Roach believes sets him apart from fighters like Martin, who ultimately couldn't withstand Davis's onslaught. The two have sparred twice before, and Davis came out on top both times, winning by decision in each session. The sparring sessions, of course, don't tell the whole story of a fight, but they do offer a glimpse into the dynamics between the two fighters. Davis, known for his knockout power, wasn't able to stop Roach in sparring, which gives Roach confidence that he can handle what Tank brings to the table. However, sparring is different from a full-fledged professional fight. Davis has grown even more powerful and skilled since those sparring sessions, becoming one of the most feared knockout artists in the sport. With 28 knockouts and 30 wins, Tank's power is no longer a question, it's a certainty. Despite Roach's confidence in his ability to take a punch, there's no denying that Davis's power has been a deciding factor in almost every fight he's had. While Roach might feel reassured by the fact that he's faced Davis before in sparring, the reality is that the stakes are much higher this time. This isn't just practice, it's a championship fight, and Davis will be looking to end it in brutal fashion, as he's done so many times before.
So can you confirm or deny Lamont Roach would be the backup?
No, Lamont Roach and Tank got a history together, an amateur history where they went back and forth as amateurs. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad.
There's something familiar about Roach's confidence heading into this fight. We've seen it before, most recently with Frank Martin. Like Roach, Martin believed he could be the one to hand Davis's first loss. He had the skills, the speed, and the athleticism to make it a competitive fight. And like Roach, Martin was confident that he could withstand Tank's power. But we all know how that ended. Martin fought bravely, but once Davis landed his power shots, the fight was over. Roach, however, insists that he's not Frank Martin. He believes he brings more experience and a higher ring IQ to the table, which will allow him to handle Davis's power better than Martin did. I've got the same experience as Tank, Roach said. I've got the reflexes, I've got the ability, I've damn sure got the IQ. But for many boxing fans, this feels like déjà vu. We've heard similar words from previous opponents, and none of them have been able to solve the puzzle that is Gervonta Davis.
Deteriorate me. None of these people are outside with me training. None of these people are in the gym with me training. None of these people can do fucking half the thing that I can do. None of these people can achieve half of the things that I don't achieve. I'm in the position where I am for a reason. So all that stuff is just outside noise, and sometimes it, you know what I'm saying, it's training camp, so sometimes I get bored. I'm going to respond every once in a while. So, but at the end of
For Gervonta Davis, this fight seems like another opportunity to showcase his dominance. With his perfect record, Davis has been steamrolling through his opponents, and many believe that Roach will be just another name on that list. Davis's ability to handpick his opponents due to his WBA privileges has drawn some criticism, with fans accusing him of avoiding tougher competition in the lightweight division. Roach, who is moving up in weight for this fight, is seen by some as another easy opponent for Davis to secure another victory. But Roach refuses to see himself as just another stepping stone for Davis. He's determined to pull off the upset and prove that he's a legitimate threat in the lightweight division. Whether or not Roach can back up his words remains to be seen, but one thing is for sure, he's not lacking in confidence. What makes the fight even more interesting is the continued online rivalry between Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach, Jr., which has escalated beyond their upcoming December fight, gaining momentum on social media as the two boxers continued to trade verbal jabs.
What do you think of the announcement of the Gervonta Davis-Roach fight?
I think that, it's had a lot of criticism, but it's not a bad fight. Lamont Roach is a world champion. He's smaller than Gervonta Davis. The problem is not many people are aware of who he is or his ability. But he can fight. I don't think it's a huge fight, but not a terrible.
It all began about a week ago when Roach attempted to troll Tank on X, insinuating that Davis would need to spar with heavier opponents to prepare for their fight. Roach's attempt to get under Tank's skin didn't go as planned, as Davis swiftly responded, stating that all his talking would be done in the ring. It was a sharp comeback, leaving Roach to stew over the response. That initial exchange highlighted the brewing tension between the two, as Roach's confidence seemed to echo the same bold claims made by Frank Martin before his own bout with Davis. Martin, whom Davis dismantled in 8 rounds, had also boasted about being ready for Davis, but the end result proved otherwise. Davis's response to Roach hinted at a similar fate for the Washington, D.C.-based boxer, suggesting that Roach's confidence might be misplaced.
Oh, that's the hook.
For a week, things remained relatively quiet. However, Roach wasn't done with his attempts to ruffle Davis's feathers. This time, Roach decided to bring his rivalry with Tank into the world of the NFL, timing his comments ahead of the much-anticipated the game between the Baltimore Ravens, Davis's home team, and the Washington Commanders, Roach's team. What started as some light-hearted sports banter turned into yet another intense exchange between the two boxers. The online spat reignited when Roach clapped back at a Ravens fan who had taken a shot at both Roach and his hometown team.
Is that what it is?
The fan, clearly aligning with Davis in Baltimore, tweeted, "We are whipping DC for the rest of the year. Ravens today, Tank in December." The tweet implied that, just as the Ravens would defeat the Commanders, Tank Davis would dominate Roach in their fight. Roach, not one to back down, quickly replied, "This expletive different over here," trying to defend both his team and his chances against Davis, but, as expected, Tank saw an opening and pounced with a quick, sharp retort. Davis tweeted back, "Yay, you asking for it?" Tank's response sent a clear message the fight was already brewing, and Roach's taunts were only fueling the fire. The exchange left Roach at a loss for words, as his only reply was the confused emotion.
Man, it's tough, but we try to ignore the noise. He do for the most part. He handled it very well, but we locked in, man. You know what I'm saying? Lamont just classy guy, man. But you know, he a rattlesnake too, man. People don't know he mean, man. So you know, you come at him, you know, he gonna bark back sometimes, and people don't be ready for when he come back.
We seeing it.
Roach's troubles didn't end with the Twitter spat. That same weekend, his Washington Commanders faced off against the Baltimore Ravens in an NFL Week 6 showdown. Just like in their Twitter battle, Roach came up short again as the Commanders lost 32-23 to the Ravens. Baltimore's offense, led by Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, dominated the game, leaving Washington struggling to keep up. The Ravens' victory marked their 4th straight win, making them one of the AFC's top contenders, alongside the Kansas City Chiefs.
Best fighting the best. In the case of Gervonta Tank Davis, where he's given Lamont Roach a great opportunity. Remember, he gave Hector Luis Garcia opportunity to come up and fight him. We haven't seen him since, because that money good. Payday. We're talking payday. And Tank is now giving another brother. He just gave Frank Martin an opportunity.
Roach, the Commander's loss, was salt in the wound, as his attempts to link his personal rivalry with Davis to the NFL game had backfired. Not only was he on the losing side of the Twitter exchange, but his hometown team had also come up short on the football field. The loss seemed to underscore the challenge Roach faces in his December fight against Davis. Just as his team had been outmatched by the Ravens, Roach might be outclassed in the ring against Tank.
You might, you know, maybe you might get a call from Tank or something. You know,
yeah, Tank's my guy too, man. I appreciate him. He shouted me out after the win. And you know what's crazy? After he beat Hector,
Despite these online exchanges and Roach's recent missteps, the upcoming fight between Davis and Roach is gaining traction among boxing fans. When the fight was first announced, many fans expressed disappointment, feeling that Roach wasn't on Tank's level. But with the recent social media drama and Roach's persistent attempts to challenge Davis, the fight has begun to generate more talk. The tension between the two fighters, both in and out of the ring, is drawing attention and creating a narrative that could lead to an exciting showdown in December.